Watch the tier list? Okay.
So I want to actually put 2 tier lists together. Okay, 2 tier lists. One is going to be a fun tier list. It's your personal opinion on which classes are the most fun to play. The second one is your tier list for what classes you project to be the best at the end game. And I want to preface that one more time, just like I prefaced earlier in the podcast. One legendary hero there could literally take a shit class into...
It's just so funny that he wears the hoodie. Like, it really is fucking funny. It's like how I wear the white t-shirt. It's like we're becoming cartoon characters.
To God tier. This is just a for fun tier list based off of the limited information that we know right now, and we don't know all the information, obviously.
Oh God.
So would you be down to do that?
I'm down. I'm always down.
Let's do it. Now I know what you guys are thinking. What the heck am I doing? Well, I kind of just pulled...
Well, this is, I'm not really surprised that Canon would take this kind of a sponsor. He was a Lost Ark player. So, playing a fucking card game and collecting cards is, that's what Lost Ark players do. You know, I still don't have Light of Salvation 30. I still don't have it.
Garzak. He's a rare elite, and today's sponsor,
I know.
Everlegion. Everlegion is a 3D fantasy idol gacha RPG that includes 7 factions, over 100 heroes, provides frequent updates, and is a completely free mobile game. In case you're wondering, even though I totally just pulled Garzak, I would have to say my personal favorite hero is Niviana.
Yeah, what a surprise. Again, Lost Ark player.
Reasons. Obvious reasons. I mean, she's got some solid AoE, don't get me wrong, but I can tell you she definitely brings more to the table than that. If you're looking for a casual game to play, look no further. Everlegion is a great choice to play in any situation. Be sure to check out the Dragon Abyss, which will square you off against the most difficult boss in efforts to earn an epic dragon egg. You'll need to strategize to put together your best team to challenge the final boss in Pilferer's Blitz. Be sure to use my exclusive code to redeem some nice rewards, limited to the first 100 people, so don't miss out.
Nineveh? Yep, bro.
Everlegion.
Yep.
Play for free now.
Let's start with the for fun tier list first then. Where would you put Barb? This is completely just play style, so you can even pick a specific build. Maybe you don't like everything Necro has, but you really enjoy playing.
It's obviously going to be
then you would put that, let's say, A tier, S tier, whatever that may be.
Oh, well, let's see here. The new skill for upheaval requires a little bit of a skill shot. People aren't going to find that. Are you talking just for me, or what I think people, will say?
For you personally. For you personally.
Me personally.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've seen Whirlwind, Rend, Hoda.
Yep.
A million times before. Double Swing I've seen before. The new skill is Upheaval. That's appealing to me. But even though Barb is my favorite class, it feels like a lot of the same. It's just charge, throw your shouts.
That's exactly right. It is a lot of the same. I looked at a video of Diablo 2 Whirlwind Barbarian. It's pretty much the same as Diablo 3 Whirlwind Barbarian. And basically, Diablo 3 Whirlwind Barbarian is about the same as Diablo 4 Whirlwind Barbarian. And that's what I'm here for. Yeah, that's why I'm here.
And use your main ability. Most of them are the same. I really like Barb's. So I'll give Barb maybe a B. I love to play it.
You've got to keep in mind that Rax played a druid. So, like, the fun factor is like, you know what I mean?
But it's just a lot of more of the same.
Right. What about Druid? Where are we going with Druid?
Oh my god, bro, if I see this shit.
So the thing that Druid has really going for it...
Maybe Rax, like, he saw how much damage Barbarian did and it scared him, so he didn't want to, like, he didn't like it as much. Maybe that's what it was. I think it's going to have the biggest diversity of builds. I think Pulverize is hilarious. I think all the shape-shifting interactions make it very fun. Doesn't do anything.
I think Blood Howl is a godly healing ability. I like...
Bro, like, isn't that funny that, like, druids, they talk about how much they can heal? Like, a barbarian doesn't need to heal because the boss is already dead. Like, what's it gonna do?
Some of like the nature
God, this is
earth
sad.
synergies and the different combinations here. I would say druid might be. I'm gonna say druid is A. I think it's more fun than barb.
Is Rax like the classic WoW S-Fan rep paladin of Diablo 4? Is he really gonna do that same shit that S-Fan did?
It's more fun than barb. I think it's got way more potential.
Okay, interesting. What about Necro? Where would you put that?
I'm gonna be real. Like, from what I played, I would put Necro as like a C. Like, I would put Necro as C or D. I feel like the class fantasy of Necro, like, just really wasn't there. It just, like, it was such a great, it does a lot of damage. It does big numbers! But, like, it's just not fucking fun to play, I would say. I don't know. I'd say it's a C.
Necro feels very strong, but it is literally exactly everything that we've always played before. The skellies suck. You throw a bone spear and you corpse explode.
Yeah.
It absolutely works and it's very strong, but I don't consider that very fun. So let's put it C tier.
There it is.
C
Smart
tier.
guy. I like this.
Where would you put my favorite class? The Rogue. The Ragu.
I would say Rogue might be...
The Rogue.
I would say Rogue is A and the Sorcerer is S. But I would also put Barbarian as S as well. I think Sorcerer and Barbarian are S tier. I never thought Rogue was S tier, but I think it's a very obvious A tier.
Funny, everything you... I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
opinion.
every time you say something, it's... Someone incorporates the number 17 into it somehow. 17 damage, points of fun. Oh, God. Sorry. Rogue.
So Rogue is definitely the most mobile class. That just feels incredible. You always have so many options. It's flashy AoE clear is incredible. The melee skills, which was probably going to be the hardest thing to design to make fun, ended up being the most fun.
Yeah.
The bow feels really lackluster to me.
Yeah, I feel like anytime that I ever saw a bow rogue, it was always like they sucked. I hope that they have a season where bow rogue is good, so it will remind me of like the original Demon Hunter from Diablo 3.
That's like the demerit that rogue gets, but I think for how flashy, mobile, and the explosions, and for how good the melee is, I'd probably put Rogue in S. I think Rogue is probably the most fun to
I think
play.
that's fair.
Wow, interesting.
I think that's fair.
Interesting. All right, what about the Sork?
I think Arclash is a very, very powerful, interesting skill. I think the Eye Shards work really well. It's a really cool build. I think Firewall is going to be extremely strong just to burn everybody, and I think Lightning is the best for leveling. I think Sorcerers are just all around probably in the best spot, and I think all the different build types are pretty fun to play. So I'd probably put them in A tier for like a completely different reason of Druid. Druid has all these crazy combinations that you can do that are really fun, but the
I feel like Sorcerer was the most I felt really good playing a Sorcerer, regardless of how much damage it dealt. I was almost kind of sad to see that Necromancer was so good, because Sorcerer was so much more fun than Necromancer.
Sorcerer just feels really solid
Personal
no matter
opinion.
what you're doing.
Right.
It's the
and
best.
By the way,
it's the
while
most
we're going through
well-designed,
this
I would
chat,
say.
I see a lot of you guys writing in your own ratings. Please feel free to share it, because this is all going to show up in the video, obviously, right? So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts as well. So this is interesting because you're a Barb main. Now,
Smart.
if you feel like Rogue was the most fun for you,
Why don't you play
did that
Rogue?
not tempt you into
Yeah.
maining Rogue for this game? Why Barb?
It's the best class. That's why.
I'm going Barb because I'm starting in a group, and I think groups need a Barb. I also write the Barb guides for Maxroll, so
Yeah, he probably did. I mean, like, Rax did a lot of Diablo 3, and, like, it was very common in Diablo 3 to have either a Barb or a Crusader that helps group mobs.
some of it is a sense of obligation. I need to be in there testing the theories that I had to make sure that they work, and if they don't work, I need to fix them within a few days.
Barb a monk?
I feel like to do it right by all the people that follow me, I feel a sense of responsibility there. But I do love barbs. Like the reason I put them in B tier is just there's nothing really new. It's just spam your shouts, leap, and use your main ability.
For me.
If you gave me something new, I'd put it higher.
I didn't want something.
But those are some of the reasons. I would love to start Rogue or Sorcerer or Necro. I could start any of them. Druid would probably be my least choice, but Barb is bae, man. I've been a Barb for a long time.
Barb is fun. Barb is fun.
Just continue with it, man.
Absolutely.
Smart.
All right, so let's reset that and let's start getting into the juice.
Okay.
Now, again, let me preface this really, really quickly this time by saying this is based off of limited information. This is not objective information.
I don't know why they didn't bring back Archon Wizard. Yo, I fucking love that back in Diablo 3. Oh my god, that was my favorite build. I don't know what the fuck happened. I'm so sad.
Let's put a tier list together that is going to showcase what Rax thinks
CM fuck off.
are the best performing classes.
That shit sucked.
In the end game.
Gives you carpal tunnel.
Based off of speculative information. Okay, so we're just going based off of some of the leaks that we've seen that may or may not even come to suffice. This is and just also know that one or two legendaries here or there that we don't know about that is definitely in the game could completely change everything. So based off of what we know right now, speculating, where would we put Barb?
So I mean, I have a simple rule on everything that I've seen so far, and I really just don't know. If I knew, I would feel guilty like filling out this tier list. I think Blizzard's going to balance it anyway, no matter what the answer is on launch. In my opinion, Barbs are the best class until proven otherwise.
Of course. Like, that's just how it is. You know who the first Paragon 100 was in Diablo 3? A Whirlwind Barbarian. His name was Alkaiser.
Even if they aren't objectively the best class, the utility that they bring to their team is invaluable. Between their shouts and things like Raid Leader, and they can charge ahead and challenging shout the enemies on them. Everybody can just walk in and just feel very tanky and just DPS the damn ads and run forward if there's a Barb there. I think Barbs with some kind of bleed build are going to do incredible damage while they're doing all those things. To me, Barb is the best class until proven otherwise. You're going to have to show me a class that's better until I will believe it. So I'd say S. I think
there it is.
Barbarian
the
going
best
into
class
the
in the
S
game.
tier. Very interesting. What about Druid?
Ooh.
As we've talked about earlier on the podcast, I think Druids have the most possibilities with their legendaries. I think someone out there is going to come up with some kind of galaxy brain build that just synergizes Earth to this, Storm to that.
Like, that's the thing, is like there's all these fucking, like, what is this constellation astrology shit he's trying to bring up? Oh, somebody is going to come along and make a good build.
This lucky hit here procs this landslide at level 100 and AoE one-shots the room. I would be very surprised if some builds like that didn't come out for the Druid. I'm expecting them to just dominate in the endgame. I would put them in probably S with Barbs.
S with Barbs. Gotcha. I do feel like
I think that Druid will be probably... I think Druid will probably be better than at least two of the bottom classes for high clearing, because Druid is so tanky. That's the only reason.
To distinguish this, would you like to put it in the order? So for example, Barb ahead of Druid, or should we just, I'll let you decide this one, or should we just kind of categorize it? They're just
tanky
all
and
in
slow.
the S tier.
Yeah.
Let's put a ranking to it. I will put Barb ahead of Druid. I think even if Druid does more damage than Barb, you're going to have to do way more damage than my Barb to actually be better, because I bring the shouts. If you
you do the shouts, he taunts all the mobs. Absolutely. It's not even a question.
do some of the supporty stuff on your Druid.
Why would you take his opinion seriously? This guy said Diablo Immortal wasn't pay to win. Onar, I understand the situation way better than you are. Or, sorry, way better than you do. Don't waste my time. Just stop typing in chat. I don't want to read it. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and you're just misremembering what happened.
which they do have great support skills. Z Druid looks amazing, actually. If you can do the supporty stuff that a Barb can do while doing your damage, I'll consider putting you ahead. But until I see it, I'd put Barb ahead.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Of course.
Great answer. Necromancer, where are we going with this?
So based on what I've seen, and I would love to be wrong, and I probably will be wrong. I think Necromancers are a little bit behind. I just do not understand how their summons are a big part of their build. I don't know how their summons are going to be viable.
Yeah.
I think you go the Bone build. The Bone build is incredible for leveling. Maybe it will also be incredible in the end game. Necros are very, very slow. They're just walking around everywhere. And I have a feeling that they might be a bit behind the other classes. So maybe I'd throw Necro in B tier.
B
That'd
tier.
be my guess.
Okay, all right.
I just like what I see happening with Necro is that, especially with so much incidental damage that the affixes in the Nightmare Dungeons is going to create, is that you're just going to have to be resummoning your minions all the time. Or you're going to have to build entirely around keeping your minions alive. I don't see a world where Necromancer is fun to play. And I also don't see a world where, like, I bet Necro can probably kill a boss as fast as a Barbarian can. Sure, I could imagine that. But, like, getting up to the boss and the enjoyment of doing so, it's just not really there. But yeah, like, Sacrifice Summon, like, bro, am I the only person that, like, if I want to play a Sacrifice Necro, I already just reroll a Sorcerer? Like, what the fuck? I don't want to do that.
Fair. Where are we going with Rogue?
So Rogue does two things very well and one thing very poorly. They are going to do a shitload of damage, and they're going to have incredible mobility.
But their survivability
with those two
sucks.
things put in the right hands, you can accomplish anything in the game. I think their survivability as you get toward the end game is going to be definitely in question. I am 100%.
Yeah, it's like, how can we see that level, that tier 100 Nightmare Dungeon, and, like, just see, bro, like, how the fuck can a rogue stay alive? Pre-watch? Nah, bro, like, it's just, like, that's the way the game is. Like, I played a lot of Diablo 3, like, I mean, like, you understand how this shit's supposed to work.
Certain that there is going to be rogue
maybe.
players that have a blast in the beginning, and when they get into the end game, they start to get flattened.
Yeah.
Because of that, I think they're going to need help from their little friendly Barb running ahead and challenging, shouting for them and stuff like that.
He's also doing more damage.
But their power and their mobility really can't be underestimated. That alone is definitely enough to put them in A tier. I'd put them in A tier.
Gotcha. Where are we going with Sorcerer, excuse me.
I think it's going to be A tier below the Rogue. Or sorry, I think actually, never mind. It'll be above the Rogue.
Sorcerer, I think, is kind of like what we spoke about on the last tier list. Sorcerer is just really solid everywhere. Might be the best leveler. I think as they move into the end game, I think they're one of the only classes, besides maybe Druid, that's going to actually have multiple options. I think an icy freezy build could be incredible. I think their fire build with Firewall or Meteor or Fireball, something like that, is going to end up being quite powerful.
Should have added Archon.
And I definitely think there's some combinations with the enchantment slots that are going to make the end game just fine. They're usually attacking at range, so survivability is a little bit better for them than the other classes.
I'm concerned about that, though, because a lot of the content that I've seen so far, like, a lot of NPCs have ranged protection. So, like, you're going to have to go into melee a lot.
I would also put Sorcerers in A tier. Hard to say whether they're better than Rogue or not. I think a Rogue, maybe in the hands of a god, is probably better than a Sorcerer. And a Sorcerer is probably better for a casual player than a Rogue.
All right, so let's...
I think that's actually a better answer than what I had. I completely agree with that assumption. That's, yeah, definitely.
Assume the gods are playing, and we'll leave it at this: Rogue ahead of Sorcerer. Chat, let me know what you guys think about this tier list. Do you agree? Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? And once again, this is just speculation. This could be completely flipped. Necromancer could become a god. There's a legendary that we discover where Bone Spear damage is increased by 1,000% for whatever.
That won't come out until season 3. but then it'll be power crept by the sorcerer. Chain lightning does 2,000% damage.
Reason.
And then
I
there's
could
the
be
barbarian
completely wrong.
whirlwind,
It's
10,000%
I won't be
damage.
surprised. So, but based
Then
on
the
what I know,
druid has
what I've
hurricane,
seen, you're gonna have to
20,000%
show
damage.
me that barbs are not the best. If you show me that, I'll believe it, and then they're out.
Yeah,
Which is what makes them the standard.
there it is. Barbarian, best class in the game. I haven't really talked about this a lot, but like I don't plan on taking, like I don't want to take any items from anybody in Diablo 4. Like I don't want to take any gold or anything like that. It's just like it's completely antithetical to like what an ARPG is. Now, I think I'll probably do that once I get tired of the game and I just want to make a few in-game builds to be funny. But like whenever I'm first starting off the game, I'm not planning on taking any gold or anything like that. Sure? I hate you guys. I'm gonna have to prove everybody wrong. Give me a minute. So there you go right there. There's the video. This is done by Canon. Canon's a great resource not only for Diablo, but also Lost Ark. I watched pretty much all of his videos whenever Lost Ark came out. And it'll probably hit 100k subs in Diablo 4, which is pretty fucking badass, man. So this is a video that I spent 77, something like that, hours farming to make this build viable and make it possible. Just to make the build work at all took me a total of over 70 hours. And I farmed every night by myself, building up to make sure that I had a ward loop build that worked. I theory crafted the entire thing for hours off stream, and I made it happen. That's a tier 1 map. You stupid little bitch. This is a tier 16 map, and it was my first day with the build. And I cleared a tier 16 map. Now, like, my character has, you know, my gear is probably worth, like, maybe 50 divines, maybe closer to, like, 30, actually. 30 to 40, I would say. And I have 52% CDR. I can easily clear anything in the game, really, outside of, like, you know, uber pinnacle bosses. As you guys can see there, I can have a 10 stack of corrupted blood, and it doesn't even move my health. It doesn't even affect what happens. So people want to say that I'm taking handouts, bro. I farmed PoE for literally weeks to make this build happen because I want this. We don't want to watch this part. This part's not. This is not a good part. This. Skip ahead. So basically, basically, like I farmed out like everything in this build, and I did it all myself. Druid speed? Yeah, I know. This is my first day as the build. Not saying I do it all the time. There are a lot of tough spots. There's always someone there to hand you a rope. Yeah, of course. I mean, like, I'd have no problem taking a handout in a different game. I just feel like the fundamental nature of ARPGs is gear progression. And if you take gear from other players, then it just doesn't matter. Like, there's no meaning or value of the game because you're just getting the gear for free. No Burning Ground Pantheon, tisk tisk. It doesn't matter. I have literally 20,000 life heal per second. The Burning Ground Pantheon is irrelevant. It would be a much better idea to take something else. It's totally trivialized in a game, take freebies. Yeah. And by the way, I also want to make sure that this is very clear that I will eventually take freebies in the game to build other character builds that I don't want to invest all the time into. It's not like I'm never going to do it, but for my first characters, I want to earn the items myself. Does that make sense? Like, so, like, for example, and like even like some of the best PoE players, like Empyrean, I've seen him do that even, right? And like fucking, what was it, MXP Extreme? Like they do community builds too. Yeah, you're showcasing a build. That's fine, but that's it. You're gonna see you take gear on your alt account without a camera soon, dude? Okay. Well, whenever I'm doing build showcases, I will, but whenever I'm actually playing the game, I won't. And in seasons, I'm not going to do that either. I think that's cringe. I know you said fuck hardcore on Diablo, but will you do a run with McConnell on your first character? I just don't want to because I don't find hardcore to be fun. Like, I don't understand why this is so hard to understand. Like, I don't find it to be fun to play. It's got nothing to do with, it's got nothing to do with, like, if I think I can do it. And again, like, it's just, to me, like, I really want to enjoy the game. I want to play this game. Like, I want to wake up in the morning and want to turn on my stream so I can stream myself playing this game. Like, this is going to be like a mindset shift for me. Is that, like, right now I don't have any sort of, like, lack of games. Like, I have so many games that I want to play. I enjoy so many different types of games. Like, I'm good, man. Like, I don't need to force myself into playing anything. We've got a list of 20 games to play still. Yeah, I do. I think that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play Diablo 4, and in the meantime, like, in between Diablo 4 and what's that other one coming out? Final Fantasy 16. I might play, like, Vampire Survivors or something like that, just as, like, a throwaway game. But other than that, I'm just gonna wait until after that, and then I have, like Devil May Cry, Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance. I wanted to play The Last of Us, the first one, because I never played it. I could play the remake. And there's a few more, too. And I also wanted to do, like, I wanted to go back and play... I wanted to play Dragon's Dogma, too. I also wanted to play the Convergence mod for Elden Ring. That was a big thing for me, too. I downloaded it, and I've got it ready to go. Yeah, Last Epoch, stuff like that, too. So there's a lot of games I'm still thinking about playing. I'll be right back. Shit!